What's up? Smack Talking Raw coming at you on this Friday edition. I'm your boy Pinky. We got Ron Stradamus in the house. He is fired up and ready today. He's got a lot to say. Oh,
Man, Pinky, I thank you for bringing us on. And this week, I got a chance to go and hang out with the masked man, Mr. Hell in a Cell, and I got something for you right here.
oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, thank
I
you.
got it. I got something else for you that's a surprise that goes on top of that, and I will not tell you what that is yet, but we will get back to that in a minute. I am totally fired up today. Smack Talking Raw, folks. This is what we're going to talk about for a little bit because I am pissed off. And when we talk about pissed off, the bottom line is that the Attitude Era was a bunch of years ago. And right now we're living through a war that's been going on for a couple decades now. And that's The Rock and Triple H. And so here's the thing. In this era of wrestling right now, when we have somebody that was so prominent like Dwayne Johnson coming out on live interviews talking about this whole thing is a work and this thing is not something that, we have it all scripted out and all this sort of stuff. The thing that I say to Dwayne Johnson is, you, man, at the end of the day, the reason why your paycheck is so big to this day is because you invested your time being an entertainer in regards to WWE programming. And in coming out now and saying, oh, the whole thing is a work, whatever, you're destroying little kids' dreams. You're even destroying big kids' dreams right now with regards to people going out there, because a lot of the people that watch your product and the program that we're on, they watch it to suspend reality for a minute. And what happens is when you sit up there and you drop, oh, well, the final boss is dead now, and I let da-da-da-da-da, and you don't show up at freaking WrestleMania? Are you kidding me? Like you are the main event of the whole entire night. No, I just want Cody and The Rock to have their sunshine in the spotlight and all these sorts of things. And the final boss, if you guys need me, give me a call. You know what? You keep your ass in Maui for all I care. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line is that when you come out here on WWE program and you're putting yourself above the product, the hell with you. And that's the whole thing, is that right now in this booking time that we are in with Triple H booking, there used to be a time where you didn't know who the bookers were, whether that was Dusty Rhodes or that was Jeff Jarrett or that was this people. You had the Four Horsemen come out and attack Dusty Rhodes in a parking lot once upon a time. As a kid, you thought that was for real. You wanted to get on an airplane and you wanted to go down there. You want to save Dusty Rhodes and make some things happen, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, now it's this, my ego and my pride is getting in front of the product. You guys need to get the hell out of wrestling and get people out there that have a passion for it, because at the end of the day, you're ruining the product right now. And the product is sitting out there. When you first started booking Triple H and started coming on, everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is a breath of fresh air since Vince McMahon is not booking anymore. Now you're booking worse than him, because look at WrestleMania 41, one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. Your ticket prices beyond the scope of comprehension for people that went to the event. And what did they go for? A glorified Raw or SmackDown? Not even. This was like a glorified house show in a big ass arena. So at the end of the day, Triple H, The Rock, and TKO, Ari Emanuel, and all of you guys need to step your game up and start to get back to reality of why your paychecks are so big, why you have $250 million salaries, why you have $1 billion salaries, what have you, and start putting your product on the line so that people that love this thing can go out there and enjoy it again. Okay, I'm done. There you go.
Man, you make great points, Ron. I can't even calm you down. That's how right you are to be angry. I'm angry. I love The Rock. The Rock last year, when the lead up to WrestleMania, all his final boss stuff, him taking videos from like the studio set, he took a video promo inside of like a rodeo ring that he was at somewhere. It was everything was great. Comes back to Elimination Chamber. You're thinking, okay, great. He gets involved, and then he just nothing. just disappears. And then he wants to say, well, I wanted it to be about Cody and Cena. I wanted Cena to get his sunshine or whatever, his shine on. Bro, you literally made yourself as part of one of the biggest storylines of all time and then completely ghosted it. Like, you firebombed it. And I don't know, again, there's rumors behind the scenes that Triple H and him are feuding. I don't know how true that is or whatnot, but something's not right. And, you know, the next thing is, at this point, if they want TKO shares, which went up quite a bit this week, I own a couple shares just because I was like, as a fan, I want to buy a couple shares. And it went up quite a bit. But how do you keep that momentum going? Well, it's not happening on Netflix because we're not seeing the ratings go up. The ratings are pretty much like around the 2 to 3 million views a week. It should be a lot higher than that. You have a opportunity every week on Netflix to literally show out every week and be fire and bring back that attitude, bring back the ruthless aggression. Hell, you know, certain words they don't bleep out, and then the other words they do. And I'm like, we're on Netflix. Why are we bleeping out anything? Again, a wrestling parent is probably going to let their parents watch whether it's cursing or not. Like, if they're into wrestling, their kids into wrestling. Now, again, as a parent, you got to let your kids know that it's not okay to say certain words, right? In most situations. Again, easier said than done in some cases, but for the most part, like, I want to see this whole attitude come back. Maybe we don't need to over objectify women again like we did back in those days, but you know, there's a lot of the violence and the anger, the temper, the you know, just that aggression that we're missing out on, and it's a shame. I had such high hopes for Netflix. I still watch. Harmony likes to join me. We watch it together. It's still fun on Mondays, but at this point, man, like, once football season starts again, it'll be pretty easy to just be like, well, I'll catch it on Wednesday instead of watching it on
the Wednesday, right? Instead of watching it live, right? You know, you have going back to The Rock and Triple H. Rock turns 53 years old tomorrow. Reason why I know that is because he's 4 days older than I am. So he's May 2nd, I'm May 6th, right? So I sit up there and I'm like, all right, you're a 53-year-old guy that has this power hungry pride ego thing. We get it. You're The Rock. You're Dwayne Johnson. You're a big time mega superstar. But if you think about this, Pinky, this is something that I was thinking about also. When The Rock first came into wrestling, he wanted to be a football player. And when he hurt his knee in college, he lost his opportunity to play football. So then he fell into wrestling, of which Vince McMahon strapped a rocket to his back and made him into a major superstar. Right. And people booed him when he first came out because he was trying to be Rocky Maivia and blah, 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 blah. And the fans then turned after, you know, brilliant stroke of genius as far as turning him heel and making him a part of the Nation of Domination and all this stuff. And then The Rock just blew up. Right. Well, the thing that I'll say to you more than anything else in the world is that we have older men inside of the pro wrestling background pushing other older men and not making new stars. And that's where we're at right now, is that at WrestleMania 41, if you look at both of the main events, you have John Cena, 47 years old, 48 years old, versus Cody Rhodes, almost 40 years old. We don't have any young talent in the hierarchy of the matches. The triple threat match, Roman Reigns, 38, CM Punk, 47, Seth Rollins, 36, I think it is now. We're not pushing the younger generation. We have all of this young talent. They brought Carmelo Hayes up. Carmelo Hayes is like 25, 26 years old. You got Austin Theory, love him or not. He's a young, great body, making things happen person and everything. I could go on a rant all day long because I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking about professional wrestling, and we're having it fought in a boardroom, and we're having it shoved down our throat, a corporate product. And that corporate product sucks right now. And in that corporate product sucking right now, I can only look at two people. And number one is Dwayne Johnson, who didn't have his happy ass at WrestleMania 41 because of his ego and his pride. You keep your ass in Maui. And number two is Triple H, who's sitting up there, who's in a position. You know what? If you're watching this today, drop a like or comment about what it is you think about it, because I'm venting right now, and that's just my passion, because I've been loving wrestling for 41 years. And 42 years now. In 42 years of liking wrestling, this is the biggest atrocity I've ever seen in my life, as far as like the booking, the writing, and the behind the scene things. We don't need the attitude era in a freaking booking room. We need an attitude era out on the product.
Yeah, and you know, they're gonna have a WWE show on Netflix that goes behind the scenes with the writers. And that's coming out this summer. So we'll see, man. I think there's at least a couple things I think they're doing a good job at. At the NFL draft, they had a bunch of guys show up. Seth Rollins came out and did a draft pick. Chelsea Green did a draft pick. Jey Uso did a draft pick. So obviously, you know, they're getting that cross promotion involved. So they're doing a pretty good job in that. But there's a lot of changes that need to happen, and we'll see how much longer this goes, because again, it's going to take stock prices going down or those ratings dropping tremendously, and you know, we'll start to see some change, hopefully.
Yeah, and the fans, like, shoot, as a fan, you know, we're talking about to go into New Orleans. We had a great time, Pinky, watching wrestling together, because guess what? We're fans of wrestling. We're close friends in regards to our personal lives. We had a great crowd here at the Young household, and it was just great. But when I look back and I watched the actual wrestling inside of the ring and stuff like that, and we're going to go into it, SmackDown had one of the best triple threat ladder matches of all time. Why wasn't that match at WrestleMania? We get the New Day versus the War Raiders. Right? Like, there was no sizzle inside of that ring in WrestleMania 41, with the exception of a couple matches. That's what WrestleMania, and Triple H, he kind of alludes to the fact that, well, stay tuned, the story will write itself. No. When you go to WrestleMania 41, that's the biggest show of the year. You show out there, and you make everything else lead up to that.
Not even that, Ron, but that weekend, if you were a wrestling fan going out for WrestleMania in Vegas, every day was jam-packed. They had WWE World. They had that night with The Undertaker, where he was telling stories. They had the Hall of Fame that was available to go to. They had NXT as well. Then they had, you know, all the meet and greets. They had you had WrestleMania 1 and 2. You had Raw on Monday. You had the roast of WrestleMania by Kill Tony, right? And like, that whole weekend was jam-packed. I can't even imagine, like, as a fan going, like, where do I spend my money? Because there was so much to do. And then again, like, for the meet and greets, I was like, shit, that takes all your money. The meet and greets were like $500 to $600 a pop, if not more. Right. So it's they're gonna have to bring wrestling back to affordability for sustainability. When it's hot and all the stars want to come out, you'll definitely, you can charge those higher prices. Eventually, the market's not going to continue to bear these higher prices. So,
well, one of the things is I Triple H, he comes out in his thing, and he talks about, you know, this is the largest gate that we've ever had in WWE, and this is you know, we had more people in the seats, and we had more merchandise sales, and we had this and we had that. He's throwing it in our face that even though we didn't put out a good product for this event, we, meaning TKO, made a bunch of money off of our dumb asses. So if you're watching this product, you can watch it on Peacock for free. And so that's the best way for you to get the message across, is not to buy the product until the product is worth watching the product. Like going into WrestleMania this year, bro, we we were so excited about it. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be way better than it was last year. And oh my gosh, this has got so much potential because The Rock and this. And I even gave you some of my things that would have, like the writing that I did with the stuff that I had just off the top of my head. Like John Cena should have hurt Jey Uso, so Jey Uso couldn't have had his championship match. And then the triple threat winner would have fought against Gunther. And then that would have put a lot more mystery into the match of Gunther versus blah, blah, blah. Just that.
Yeah, we're just need to get you in the writing room, Ron. We just got to get you in the writing room.
I don't want to be in the writing room. I want to be somebody that can enjoy the product now. That's what I want.
But we could make you some money along the way, though. So let's make you some money.
Amen, brother. So talk to me. I'm off of my tirade for now because all day long I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, and the only thing I'm thinking about is that all of a sudden TKO has become corporate, which has made everything inside the product has become very corporate. Like they have the signage all in the ring now. Vince McMahon, he was very, very adamant about not crowding up his ring with advertisements and stuff. And now that he's gone, I see his point now.
It's too much. I think I wouldn't mind if there was one sponsor, you put them right in the middle, so it's displayed right there, and that's it. But they've got like every part of that match or ring all carved out with sponsors. It's a whole new world, man.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about Raw, and then I absolutely want to hear about this night with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, Dude Love. So SmackDown, like you alluded to, that table ladders chair match with DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits was, I was blown away. I was like, man, these guys they were putting it out, and that's where, the older I get and the more I pay attention, that shit hurts. I don't care who you are. When you get slammed through a ladder and it breaks and snaps, pieces of that ladder stab you. That shit is, you are going to feel it. It's maybe it doesn't like break your back, but you sure as hell damn feel it, right?
Well, the fact that Montez Ford, let's talk about Montez Ford for a second. The Street Profits is a tag team. They're meh because they haven't been booked very well over the last 5-6 years on the main roster. But the fact that they're the tag team champions now, cool. But Montez Ford, they should strap a rocket ship to him and he's absolutely flawless in the ring. His promo, did you see his promo that he did on online where he grabbed his camera and dude, if you haven't seen that, everybody go watch the promo of Montez Ford doing his promo where he's talking about what the Street Profits represent, everything like that. He just did it. It's fantastic. It was very similar to the Rock's promos that he did in going up to WrestleMania 40. Fantastic.
I'll have to take a look. Yeah, I didn't catch it. I've always thought Montez Ford is fantastic. He probably he just hasn't gotten the push as a single competitor. It's like, to me, like when I watch Carmelo Hayes as well, like he's awesome, he's fantastic, and just not getting that push. So again, that's where I think we need to do more with the 4 belts that we have, right? Those 4 belts, we need to put together more. Like, yeah, we've just got these 2 guys chasing so-and-so, and then we've got this guy chasing someone. Like, we need to have more. Like, everybody, when you have that belt, you've got that bullseye on your back, and everybody's coming for you, right?
Right.
And you're having to, I know the top belts, you're not working, man. That the Intercontinental titles and the U.S. title are still kind of the working man titles. They just need to do more with that. So I was super excited to watch that TLC match. I saw the promo with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill doing a kind of an impromptu match. Jade wasn't too bad in that one actually. Now I think there's still some stiffness between the two of them. And maybe that's because they haven't really worked together very long. But I will say when Tiffany did a cartwheel, Jade got her and then put her in a power bomb or a Alabama Slamma. That was pretty dope. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give Jade her flowers on that. That was pretty dope. So if we can get some more of that from Jade, I'd like that. And then of course Naomi came out and interrupted everything, which I'm assuming that means they're kind of keeping that feud going.
And Nia Jax came out too. Don't forget about that.
And then Nia Jax came out at the end to rough up Tiffany Stratton. And I'm telling you, man, if Nia Jax if she truly lands that off the middle buckle, dude, like you're done. Like you're just done.
Right. I don't care who you are. I don't care what human you are. You're all done for sure.
All done. So I'm trying to think what else happened on SmackDown. I didn't catch it live. I had to watch like the highlight videos.
Aleister Black came back, which was really awesome. He was one of my favorites before he left to go to the other organization. And the thing about bringing someone back that has been gone, again, it's poor booking. A lot of people aren't going to remember you 3-4 years down the line, even though you were good. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of like do the vignettes like they did back in the day. Remember when Razor Ramon was coming first into the WWE and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
hey Chico, I'm the bad guy," right? And he came in and he had this persona. You get reintroduced to the product and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that guy. To have Aleister Black just come in cold like he did, it didn't have any reaction really inside of the ring, especially with The Miz being the guy that they chose for him to target.
Right. Well, I mean, it was just the same for Rusev. I did like the promo Rusev did this week, but he came out and he beat up on American Made. Like, really? Like, is that really the best American Made? Really? I mean, those guys are kind of like they give you a good match, but they're kind of the jokes of the league right now.
Well, and when Rusev left with Rusev Day. He was a good guy. So, like, you're bringing him back as a bad guy now. Like everybody was moved to the axe, Smatska, right? And then he would do his thing. Dun, 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 dun. And where is Lana in that? And then they had the whole thing with. Anyway, I could sit here and bark, and the reason why I'm barking about this is because I'm looking at our bookers of people that are putting our product on, and it's like they have nothing but gigantic holes. Like I can put anything out there and it's okay. This triple threat ladder match should have been at WrestleMania.
Without a doubt. We had Randy Orton and John Cena. It looks like we had kind of talked about that before. They were already doing the promotional materials for Backlash with Cena and Orton. So it made it seem just really relevant that they're both going to match up at Backlash because they were both already being shown on the posters. So then for them to make that happen, I mean, that was pretty easy. That promo wasn't bad. I still love Cena. I love Cena. I love him attacking the crowd. I love him just talking trash. I think Orton is a good. He's also good on the mic. So I did enjoy that. I thought it was a little long because it was like 21 minutes, but
21 minutes, yeah.
It was good. I did enjoy it. I think that's it that I remember from watching the highlights on SmackDown. I know seems like they're going to set up the Fatu and Solo. I don't know if they're going to get it at Backlash or if they're going to keep building this and make it for SummerSlam or Money in the Bank. But Solo was out there taking credit for bringing Fatu in, and that's why he helped make Fatu a champion. And Fatu wasn't quite having that. Like, wait, hold on now. I did all this. Like, this ain't because of you. You didn't go out and beat up LA Knight, and you didn't have to go through Braun Strowman to get here. Like, but again, they haven't done a whole lot with Solo since they brought him back. Oh, he's that whole bloodlines is pretty much dead. They just need to Fatu solo and then just blow it up. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's be done with the bloodlines now.
Let's be done with the bloodline, because they brought Solo Sikoa up and made him the leader of the bloodline. Did he win a match as the leader of the bloodline?
Yeah, he won quite a few matches. And then of course they had a couple where he won by like, them cheating and stuff, but yeah, he had won a couple.
I'm talking about solo matches, single matches.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty confident he won a few solo matches against some of the top guys, but not for a belt or anything, of course. So he lost that one to Cody. I'll have to look it up.
So to finish out like SmackDown, we had the new tag team Fraxium. They fought Los Garzos, and Axiom is a great wrestler. He wrestles under the mask. His big come to do was in NXT. I like that guy. We got a new United States champion, Zelina Vega. That's pretty huge. Again, they did a disservice to Chelsea Green as the United States champion. She wasn't on WrestleMania. She wasn't on the SmackDown before, and she loses the belt to Zelina Vega like a couple weeks after WrestleMania. Thank you for being the first ever United States champion, Chelsea Green.
Right. I mean, she did. The more and more I saw Chelsea Green, the more I was digging what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Being Canadian and then being all about America and her whole stick. I thought that was really fun. But I do understand, like, at some point, you got to move the belt along, right? And so it was probably time. But let's see.
Oh, yeah, and Ciampa shaved his beard and mustache and everything.
He did.
Tommaso
he did.
Yes.
Maybe he hasn't. I'm looking over this list, and it's like defeated. Solo Sikoa did beat. He beat Jimmy. But that was back in 2024.
I know I'm watching the product, so I know at the end of the day that like he hasn't won very many matches to have been the tribal chief, if you will,
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, you were right again, Rostradamus. He did not win very much to be elevated the way he was. But I thought in 2024 he was one of the best heels of 2024. Like, I thought he actually did a really good job. And but it was only like you could only take him so far. He could only feud with Roman so long before it was like, okay, we've got to move on. And now he just doesn't have anything to move on to, unfortunately. Moving to Raw. What else did we have on Raw? So we had Cena and Orton again on Raw, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had Seth Rollins and Sam trying to get Sami Zayn to move to SmackDown. That I don't know. Maybe that's because they're trying to give Sammy something to do now that Kevin Owens isn't around. Trying to figure out what do we do. The Bloodlines is pretty much done, so we can't keep having him with the Bloodlines. And now we need something else for Sammy to do. So I know Sammy turned Seth down and then got his ass whooped. Do you think this will continue to Backlash? Or do you think Sami Zayn, they'll finally get him to turn?
I think eventually they're going to get Sammy to turn. But I think that before they get him to turn, they're going to make kind of like a 4 horseman type stable is what my prediction is that I think you're going to get someone, a young guy, maybe an Austin Theory or a somebody that's like currently just not being used very much so they can get the rub right now. So Austin Theory or somebody will come on, and then Sami Zayn will be the 4th person of their group to make them so they're dominant and powerful.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things out there. A lot of people are predicting Austin Theory to join the group.
Or even Finn Balor. Finn Balor is another option. You know, he leaves Judgment Day and joins this new group, which doesn't have a name yet.
But you know, the Austin Theory, having Austin Theory and Braun Breaker makes sense because again, it's kind of like the Seth Rollins and the Wise Man being mentors to the young guys, kind of like old Evolution was. So it's definitely possible. And what do you think about Rollins doing this? Like he made this motion to Braun. Do you think that means anything? Is that connected to The Rock at all or Cena?
It could be. You know, at the end of the day, it could be. I don't know. Like, I don't know where the writing is going now. You just had the biggest event of the year, the biggest draw in the arena, not there. I don't know. He could have been having an itch on his neck and we just misinterpreted it. I don't know.
No, I'm hoping it has something to do with it. I feel like there's a missed opportunity if Cena, like I want Cena to be part of this group with Seth Rollins or something. I think it just kind of missed an opportunity if John Cena continues being out there on his own, talking about how he's going to ruin wrestling. I think it'd be a lot more interesting if he had some buddies helping him ruin wrestling. So, and I know from this recent Raw, there just wasn't a whole lot to comment on. It just wasn't very good. I did. I think we'll kind of transition into what I think was the most exciting part of this Raw, and that was Stephanie Vakir wrestling Io Sky. And they put on a pretty good match, right?
Very good match.
I mean, Io Sky, I think I just love her more and more because every time I watch her, I'm entertained. But the move she does, her fluidity in the ring, she just seems so natural. And then I love her quirky nature and she gets excited and you know that I think she truly loves what she's doing, right? It kind of comes through.
But they didn't wrestle this week. It was Stephanie Vakir and Ivy Nile this week.
Okay, so I'm thinking of last week.
Yeah, it's hard to get that. I know it's hard to get that out of your mind, bro. It's okay.
Because that was good. Stephanie Vakir is look, man, when she can put Devil's Kiss on me anytime. All right. She can throw me around the ring like a rag doll anytime. I'll be her guy. Besides being very good looking and amazing, she's really good in the ring. Yeah. She is really good in the ring. And I think you would agree with me. Her time in NXT is done. Like there's just no reason to have her down there anymore.
She's a superstar. She's a superstar right now.
I guess when they signed her, they gave her the option to join the main roster right away. And she decided that she would prefer to start at NXT, kind of get some exposure. I think kind of learn more about the States, as well as she's been working on her communication, her language, right? Because English is not her first language because she's from Chile. Mm-hmm. What do you think she's done? I mean, she's still holding that NXT belt around. The last two weeks she's been on Raw. Is she done?
Yeah, they're all ready to come up. And Julia, out of all three of the girls that are coming up, and I love all three of them, Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Vakir. But I think that out of the three of those, Julia is going to be the one that becomes a massive superstar because she's an incredible wrestler. Like when you get a chance to really hone in on her, she's incredible. I'm a Stephanie Vakir fan. Roxanne Perez is flawless. But you watch Julia as she comes through. When she was in Japan, she was the queen bee of that division out there, and she brings all of it, the charisma, the athleticism, and everything, just as the other two. But she's more of if you're a traditional wrestling type person, watch out for Julia. She's incredible.
Do you, with Julia and Roxanne Perez, they're kind of doing a NXT takeover now, currently, or at least the last couple weeks they have. Do you think that will get them started in a feud with, it looks like, Rhea and Io Sky? And I don't know if Bianca's been involved at all. But Do you think this is going to be kind of a short thing to get them started over here, or are they going to kind of do this NXT takeover for a while with these two ladies?
I think they're going to get pretty close here. If they're not booked at anything for Backlash, I think that definitely at Money in the Bank, they'll definitely be in it because everybody's been high on Roxanne Perez because she's a Booker T girl. Anyway, she's pretty flawless and she has a unique presentation that she offers that I haven't seen any other woman offer in the main event roster. It's like when she has this innocent girl next door look, but she's evil inside of herself. So it's like you get a mixture of it in the same sentence. So it's really cool what Roxanne Perez does.
I've become more of a fan because I was able to get one of her cards on the WWE 2K25 game. And so she's one of my highest rated characters that I can wrestle with. And when she pulls the Pop Rocks, I'm like, Pop Rocks, boom! It's awesome. So I've been very excited that I was able to unlock her and have her available to kick some ass. So I'm looking forward to this. I love it. I love them, tangling with the big dogs per se, right? Rhea and Io Sky, right? They're the big dogs right now. They're one of the two of the top girls, and for these girls from NXT to come up and start messing around with them, I really like that a lot. So I hope they can keep that going. I hope there's a match at Backlash. I'm pulling it up right now to see what we've got confirmed, and let me see if they've confirmed that one so far. Oh, well, there's only 3 matches confirmed so far for Backlash, which we should find out more here because Backlash is next Saturday. But Gunther went crazy on Pat McAfee. Put a good choke on him. I'm pretty confident Pat talked to him like, hey, you put a good choke on me. You don't put that bitch choke that Jay put on you and tapped out on. You put a good choke on me. And because that choke looked damn good.
Damn good.
Damn good. And I was like, that's not, I watch a lot of UFC. My wife watched it. She saw that Gunther, Pat McAfee, and she was like, that one's pretty good. When she notices it, she's like, that one's pretty good. That, she'll kind of notice and be like, oh, it's on their chin. It's not all the way down. She knows. And that one with Pat was, he kind of had it up in this like section up here in the arm. So it had a little bit of that give. It wasn't all the way in, but it was up there.
It was tucked in pretty nicely for sure. For sure.
And then this week they gave Pat the opportunity to respond and talk about he's going to protect his boy and he's always going to be there for him. And now he's got a match with Gunther at Backlash. I love Pat. I really do. He hasn't wrestled in a while. I think the last guy he wrestled was Theory, if I remember right.
Right. That is correct. Yes.
I'm kind of nervous on this one because do you have him beat Gunther?
No.
Or do you have Gunther get disqualified at some point during the match, right?
I think it's a 50-50 match to where Pat McAfee looks strong, but Gunther ultimately chops him down to size and wins the match kind of thing. Because they're not going to have a long, prolonged Pat McAfee and Gunther matchup. They're not going to have it beyond Backlash. If they do that, that's just like you've already done the damage to Gunther, having him tap. See, this is like what's so Triple H. His biggest thing is that he doesn't make sense with his storytelling now. Jey Uso is not a submission wrestler, and he beat Gunther, one of the greatest champions ever, with a chokehold that wasn't even very well applied.
Right.
On a quick tap out.
Right.
So they have to make Gunther look strong this matchup. Otherwise, Gunther's facade of being this dominant champion guy or whatever loses all of its steam there.
So the only so we talked about they've already got Randy Orton and Cena ready for Backlash. The other one that's locked in now is Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. And I'm torn on this one. Like Becky Lynch probably is big time and doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship. Right?
Right.
So what I don't like if she beat I feel like they still like Lyra holding that belt though. So I could see again another like disqualification, a good match between the two, back and forth, and then somehow Becky gets disqualified. And then, Lyra still holds that belt because Lyra probably, should probably lose that belt to one of the new girls from NXT, right? And let them get that belt, get that shine, and get that lift. And again, I don't know where Lyra goes from there. I'm not a huge Lyra fan, so.
Yeah, I think that in order for Lyra to get the rub the opposite of what Chelsea Green got, in
Right.
order for Lyra to get the rub as far as being a good champion, she's got to beat somebody of credibility. So her beating Becky Lynch makes sense unless they turn Becky Lynch full heel by having her join the group of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. That's something that is a possibility.
I mean, that's what we all want. That just makes sense to me. We all know she's married to Seth Rollins. They've interacted lots of time out in public together. We know it's not a storyline. It's all fact. So why not let them work together, right?
Right.
I think that's fun to see them go and, basically choose who they want to pick and beat the crap out of, right? So that should be good. I'm excited to get some more matches. The way they brought, I don't know if you saw who was talking crap to Penta. Oh, Chad Gable was talking crap to Penta, bringing up Bray Phoenix. I would be shocked if there's not a future Lucha Bros match against El Grande Americano. Like maybe that'll be Backlash or Money in the Bank. I could see that happening sometime soon.
I don't see the Lucha Bros getting together until later on down the line. They're doing a good job of having Ray Phoenix and Penta being on the separate brands right now. And something will happen with a trade to where they come together and then they'll come together. They're going to keep them separate for a while. I like where you're going with that because what I also was thinking in that interaction is what if El Grande Americano fights alongside with Chad Gable, right? Because they've alluded to that and have a tag team match against the Lucha Bros down the line.
That could be fun. That could be fun. I don't know who they would put in that El Grande Americano outfit, but it could be a good time. Anything else from Raw that stood out to you? Again, it was very lackluster this time, for sure.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me is that I'm excited about the girls coming up. That I really am. You have Stephanie Vaquer, who's currently the NXT championship, and usually when they bring those girls or guys up from NXT, they have them take a couple of unnecessary losses, so they lose a little bit of their steam coming into the matches. But Stephanie Vaquer, she's flawless in the ring, flawless. Roxanne Perez, flawless in the ring. Julia, flawless in the ring. So what I see is the next generation getting ready to come up because you got Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch that have been carrying the company for a long time. They're in their middle 30s now. And there's only so much time that you have in the female division to be a pinup model, right?
Right. I think Charlotte just turned 40. So
Oh,
she's getting up there, man. And that, again, not to say even when Trish Stratus comes back and wrestles, she still doesn't look bad, and she's in her late 40s,
right,
or early 50s, I think. She's fairly old at this point. So again, it's not as smooth when they come back, but she's 49. Trish is 49. So
so to finish out this show, on Thursday last week, I got the opportunity to go to the Mick Foley show. His comedy show is absolutely funny. If you're a true wrestling fan and you followed wrestling at any time, Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, he went through all of his stories from the very beginning of wrestling, where he wrestled in WCCW, all the way to current, him and the Undertaker doing their thing, and was funny all along the way. Gracious. When I got a chance to finally meet him and everything like that, it felt like me and you, Pinky, just having just a casual interaction with each other, and he just happens to be on TV falling off of cages and stuff, right? Just a regular old dude.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, and so like in the process of that, so I was telling you I was going to give you a surprise, but I'm actually going to show you said surprise right now.
I mean, you can hold it till next Saturday.
Nah. If I held it till next Saturday, that wouldn't have any fun on it, right? So the key thing is
Socko!
Mr. Socko signed by Mick Foley.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Oh my God. We'll have to start doing Socko segments. Let's go.
So, the thing that was really cool about the interview with Mick Foley, where he was telling his story, different than what we got in the last couple of weeks with The Rock, he kept in the kayfabe of the origination of the story. Everything was so perfectly said. It was like you got a behind the scenes, but it didn't have to be like, I'm behind the scenes, but dude, my name is Ron, and right. He told it as if he was in character. He told stories about him and Steve Austin, before they were big and they were the bestest of friends and all that sort of stuff. And The Rock, when The Rock first came in and everything. And then I asked him a question that you could tell nobody asked him about, which was his match against The Rock at the Royal Rumble 1999, because I was there. And when I asked him that match, you could tell it hit a bone. Like, he's like, ooh, yeah. He's like, yeah, yeah. He's like, I didn't know that it was a bad idea to take a chair shot with handcuffs behind my back. And then he quickly moved subjects because it was a sore subject with them in regards to that. So wrestling is such a great outlet for men, women, and children. And the thing that I don't want people to get lost in the shuffle with, and anybody that's watching this program, I want you to, because like inside of myself, as much as I'm pissed off, right? I'm pissed off about what happened, because the people that watch this, a lot of people are struggling right now with regards to dollars and cents in their pockets. So to have spent $1,000 to sit in the nosebleeds in Allegiant Stadium to watch a product that was less than desirable, that's irresponsible. Dude, of the people above.
Did you see the video of the dude? Like, he's literally watching WrestleMania on his phone in the stadium in the nosebleeds. Like, at that point, like, why are you even there at that point, right? You could have saved that money and just been home, no reason to be there. Oh, definitely feel you on that. Let me ask about Mick Foley. Did he kind of tell stories and give some comedy with all three of his characters, Cactus Jack, Mankind, and Dude Love?
He told the stories from Mick Foley's viewpoint, and then he would introduce the different characters, but he didn't get into those characters except for Dude Love when he sang happy birthday to everybody's birthday that was in the building that day. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
He did it in a Dude Love character, and it was that. I wish they would allowed us to record or videotape that or whatever. That was brilliant when he did that, for sure.
I don't think he probably gets enough credit for his acting ability. He did such an amazing job with multiple characters that most people can't do, two characters. They are who they are.
Right.
And their character, a lot of times, is just kind of an extension of themselves, right? It's not something different, but all three of those guys are completely different animals. And he tackled each one so fantastic. It was sad to see. I mean, again, his body broke down, but when you do a lot of the things that he would do, and again, I think I don't know if he mentioned it in his stories. He mentioned it on one of the programs I watched where he kind of said I had to look at myself during the Attitude Era and be like, what can I do to stand out? Because I'm just a regular guy, right? He's not gigantic. He's not the most athletic. He's not the amazing, overall amazing guy like Bret Hart or something like that. He's a pretty good wrestler, right? He's got all the moves and stuff, and he's tough, but he didn't have anything that stood out. So he had to come up with those additional characters to really help him with, standing out. Did he talk about that at all?
He did, but not like directly like what you would ask for. He expressed his different progressions. He said like what he really took on as far as a character is being the best loser at matches. That's what he wanted to do, is just make other people look good by putting on great matches and losing, and then finally got recognition from doing that. And then that's when he got promoted to the WWE and everything like that. So he had a process that at one point in time, he knew he was not going to be the guy that was going to main event the night, but he decided to become the best loser. And then in becoming the best loser, he became the WWE champion on 2 occasions, both times beating The Rock. So that's pretty incredible story right there in and of itself.
Right. And then also being a tag team champ with The Rock.
Right. So, right.
Pretty cool. I was sad that I missed that night, but I was in Green Bay at the NFL draft, so I was glad that you were able to be there for me. Looked like you guys had a blast. It sounded amazing. So,
man, I got my Rated R Superstar belt finally signed. That's one of those things. So he signed that, and one day I'm gonna track down Adam Copeland so he can sign the other side of it, so that because that's one of my favorite matches of all time with regards to WrestleMania is WrestleMania 22 when they fought inside of the no holds barred match and where they went through the table flaming. That's Ooh. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a tough match, man. Those guys, again, those are 2 dudes that will always put their body on the line. The fact that Copeland's still wrestling is pretty crazy to me.
Yeah,
he's a wonder.
We got to wind those guys down, and we got to start getting the new generation coming up. I mean, we have to our point, we have Roxanne Perez, we have Julia coming up, we have Carmelo Hayes, we have all this good talent. JD McDonough, who doesn't get enough credit inside of his wrestling acumen. He's a really good wrestler. Dominic Mysterio. We need to get those guys to start getting some. Baron Breaker, of course, now he's going to start getting some looks and everything like that. We got to get the younger guys coming up and getting some real push.
What are your thoughts about Obi Femi and Trick Williams? How far away are they from coming up?
I'm scared about them coming up because Obafemi and Trick Williams have both been so dominant, and I don't see where they get put in the main event category on the main roster for a while. It's like they don't have a place. They would come in and be a mid-carder, get lost in the shuffle. I don't think that they have those kind of characters. So it'll be interesting to see how they get booked when they do get called up, because whoop that trick, right, is a thing, right? Whoop that trick is a thing.
And then the last guy I would probably ask about, what are your thoughts? It sounds like Joe Hendry is coming soon from the sounds of it. What are your thoughts about that? Oh, did I lose him? I lost Ron for a moment. I lost him. His thing froze. So I'll carry on for a moment. Joe Hendry's probably coming up. His contract's going to be back in a year, or up in a year. Ron's internet must be down. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it a day. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my Sacco. I can't thank Ron enough for thinking of me and helping out my sports memorabilia collection with some Mick Foley memorabilia. That is amazing. I hope to get to do some of those things in the future with Ron. Typically, we end the show. Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back. Come on in, Ron. There we are.
My computer completely turned off. That was crazy.
So you had this look like you were sleeping, and I just rolling with it. I was getting ready to end everything. I was asking you about Joe Hendry right before it froze, and what your thoughts were. If you have any thoughts about Joe Hendry.
Man, I just don't. I don't get Joe Hendry. I know that he's got an appeal to people. I just feel like he's an internet icon right now, and it's just that it's for me as a traditional wrestling fan. I get his appeal of his turnaround and his smile and all that, but it's just like for me, it's like punch him in the face real quick, you know.
I think that stick would get old, in my opinion. Like, and again, if he does that turn and you give him a RKO out of nowhere, amazing. You give him a stunner, you give him an attitude adjustment, like whatever it is, you mess him up when he does that spin. I think that would be fun, but that would only last so long. So, but it from the way it sounded, Triple H had him at WrestleMania because there's about 11 or 10 months left on his contract with TNA, and TNA does have an agreement with WWE, so they can do some cross promotional stuff. But it does sound like Joe Hendry's coming soon. So I wanted to get your thought on that.
In that spot at WrestleMania 41, another dropped opportunity, man. If all of a sudden Goldberg's music hits and Goldberg comes down to challenge Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is like, holy moly, I gave a challenge, and this guy comes out. So now you have a real match at WrestleMania as opposed to a squash. It didn't do anything for Joe Hendry one way or another, because like people are either going to like him or not, you know. But Goldberg versus Randy Orton, they would have been talking about that for a long time, having had that at WrestleMania.
I do think it helped Joe Hendry. It helped Joe Hendry more than it hurt him, just getting that exposure, and he got a really good pop as well. So I think that's going to help him in the long run, or at least show that he can be viable. But I don't know how high on the ladder he can get when he comes over. So I was finishing up real quick, Ron, with, thank you again for thinking of me and getting me a Socko. I'm super stoked about that. He will make many appearances on the show. It does add to my sports memorabilia collection, which I'm sure my wife hates, but I love it. And thank you so much, my friend. I love that so much, and I appreciate everything you do.
Man, we've become, some people would say strange bedfellows, right? Because at a time we didn't know that the other person liked wrestling, and all of a sudden we opened up, and did we just become friends?
You're talking wrestling? You're talking wrestling? Yeah, let's talk some wrestling.
So I'm really excited about everything that we have, and everybody, as you're watching these programs and everything like that, whether you're watching them live or you're watching them in the future, just know that you're watching two people that really have passion for this. You can watch, there's Hogan and Bischoff that are coming out with this new show or whatever, and you got Dave Meltzer and all these guys that come in that get paid big money. We do this because we love it, and we love you guys. And if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. We'll see you guys next week.
Like, comment, subscribe.